Ladies and gentlemen, we have some exciting news in the world of, well, not necessarily MMA or the UFC, but really in the world of boxing, and more particularly with that, bare knuckle boxing. And this comes in the form of the one and only star of the show, of the BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Club. And no, we're not talking about Conor McGregor here, the notorious McGregor. We're talking about the one and only, the Platinum Michael Perry. The King of Violence, baby. He is coming back, ready for action. And who might his opponent be, we may ask? Well, none other, and this is according to X as of 1 hour ago, as of making this video. This is from a Platinum Mike Perry repost himself. Apparently, it's none other than Darren Till.
You're stupid because you get hit too much and you can't take that for so long. That's not good. And let me just tell you, on a realist side, I'm hitting the hardest I've ever been hitting. If I hit you, I won't knock you out. I'll savagely put you in a coma.
Do you buy you're selling?
Very, very exciting to see this, guys. We haven't seen Darren Till fight in a pretty long time. I believe he had a boxing match with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., if I'm not mistaken. But that might have gotten canceled. I honestly don't know. I haven't heard from Darren Till in a really, really long time. If I'm being quite honest, the last time that I really remember hearing or even seeing Darren Till is that infamous meme that Hamzat, when him and Hamzat are walking backstage in the UFC, and Joaquin Buckley comes up to him and asks him for a fight, and then Hamzat goes up and he has this whole confrontation. Here's that clip right here, if you don't remember that, or maybe I'm playing it without the audio behind it. I don't know how I'm going to edit this video, but nonetheless, guys, this is very exciting. Platinum Mike Perry is always fun to watch. Darren Till is honestly always really fun to watch, and this has always been a matchup that we've kind of been seeing build up over the years. I think these guys have had some beef for the last couple of years. Of course, they both originate in the UFC, or they probably had other fighting leagues that they fought in before even the UFC, some regional leagues, but they got their stardom in the UFC, to say the least. So this is going to be a pretty exciting fight, and I think the BKFC is going to play it really well. And I'm honestly surprised that this is happening. I guess, well, I'm not really that surprised considering the fact that a lot of it is just entertainment. But part of me genuinely believed that Conor McGregor, because you never know with that guy anymore nowadays. You never know with that guy anymore. So part of me genuinely thought that Conor McGregor was firing Mike Perry from BKFC, but why would he, right? He was just saying that because he lost to a Jake Paul that was severely bigger than him, and we won't get too much into the Mike Perry Jake Paul thing. It's just sad, especially after the most recent Jake Paul fight between Mike Tyson. Just watching most Jake Paul fights are kind of disappointing and sad. But that's for a video in and of itself. This is about Mike Perry, Platinum Mike Perry, baby, and the comeback. And potentially a Darren Till comeback. But I guess that's the perfect time to segue into who the hell wins this thing. And I think the answer is obvious, guys, who we're backing here on the channel. The one and only Mr. Platinum Mike Perry. I think he gets the job done. I think he's had more action in the BKFC. He's got way more experience. He's built for the BKFC. He's the top dog of the BKFC. He's the throne-holding king of the BKFC. I think he gets the job done, guys. What do you think? Darren Till versus Mike Perry, BKFC. Now, I don't believe this is officially announced by any means yet, so we don't know with 100% certainty. It seems as if Darren Till's side hasn't 100% accepted this yet. Like I said, as of making this video, there was a repost on Mr. Mike Perry's X page that alludes to this. Of course, I'll leave that, well, I'm sure that it's posted up on the video now, but I don't know. If he doesn't fight Darren Till, who else really is there for him to fight in the BKFC? I mean, really, it seems like BKFC is just kind of going for free agents at this point. So, with Conor McGregor being a part of the scene here, and with Conor McGregor supposedly still a part of the UFC in some way, shape, or form, could we potentially see them partner up, and could we see Jorge Masvidal or maybe Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry? Man, Nate Diaz, because I know Jorge Masvidal is under contract with the UFC, and he has the whole game bred boxing thing or game bred bare knuckle thing going on. So I don't think we would see him fight in BKFC. Granted, Jorge, who has more experience than Mike Perry in the BKFC? You could argue Jorge Masvidal, right? He came up in the BKFC. He came up street fighting with Kimbo Slice. So who else but Jorge Masvidal? But I think, because I believe Nate Diaz is actually a free agent right now, if I'm not mistaken, although I have heard rumors that he has some back dealings in the works with the UFC potentially. I don't know 100%, but my assumption is that the UFC probably doesn't want to see him fight again. So, I don't know. You never know, though. Nick Diaz was supposed to fight, but I don't know. I feel like that was just a marketing ploy at the end of the day. But Nate Diaz, guys, free agent. Nate Diaz, free agent. BKFC, Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, and Nate Diaz have a great relationship, from my understanding. So perhaps that is a doorway, if you will, into the BKFC. And who better for a show? Who better for a giant show of the BKFC? I mean, really, if we saw Nate Diaz and Mike Perry, Platinum Mike Perry in the BKFC, my God. Could you imagine how well that would probably do for pay-per-views? I mean, I feel like that would be sick to see Nate Diaz and bare knuckle boxing. Nate Diaz's boxing is extremely underrated, guys. I've always said that, and I think it's become more and more prevalent as he's gotten older and fought a lot more. But especially with this most recent bout against Jorge Masvidal, most recent boxing bout against Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz's boxing is underrated. He has a great boxing coach. I actually forget his name off the top of my head, but I used to know his name. He has a great old school boxing coach from the West Coast, and he kind of came up boxing, if I'm not mistaken. He might have even started boxing before jiu-jitsu, if I'm not mistaken. And that's kind of hard to believe considering how much, Nate Diaz gets hit. But that's what makes him great, guys. That's what makes him fun to watch. And that's what would make him especially astounding in the BKFC. So what do you guys think? Do you think Darren Till is going to come out and accept this bout in a bare-knuckle fight against Mike Perry? I wonder how much these guys are getting paid in the bare-knuckle fighting championship, the BKFC. I wonder how much Mike Perry gets paid per fight as the top earning star. We can only assume that Mike Perry's the best earning fighter in the BKFC. So how much does he get paid per bout? My assumption, if I'm going off of just raw estimate, this is just a number out of my ass, right? I'm going with a cool $1 million per fight. But who knows? Who knows? That's him as a champion. I'm assuming that the PFL does $1 million, that perhaps the BKFC does $1 million. So that's a grand question of getting someone bigger like Nate Diaz. If the BKFC wants someone like Nate Diaz, they're going to have to cough up, my guess, to get him into a bare knuckle fight, they're going to have to cough up at least 7 or 8 million. My assumption, at least 7 or 8 million. But I really don't know, especially since he got that Jake Paul bag. It seems like all of these fighters, they get a big bag from Jake Paul. And I've heard rumors that Jake Paul always goes 50-50 with fighters on pay-per-view no matter what. So that might be a big reason as to why a lot of these fighters get quote-unquote spoiled. In my opinion, it's not spoiled by any means. They should be making as much money as humanly possible, and the league should be making the least amount of money as possible, but that's a whole video in and of itself. So if they want Nate Diaz, it's going to cost them a lot of money, but Darren Till, I think, is very doable. I think Darren Till would probably do it for, who knows, maybe 500,000, right? 250 to 500,000, who knows? Plus, I think Darren Till has a good relationship with Conor McGregor as well. I don't know how much that plays into things. I don't know how much Conor McGregor really has a say or in the back dealings and whatnot, especially with all that's going on in his life right now. But who knows? Supposedly he's a majority owner, from my understanding. So my guess is that he would have some sort of say in these things. But nonetheless, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to follow my X page. Don't forget to hit that subscribe if you enjoyed. And until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.